Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's doing okay this morning. I just want to come out from a different location. We're usually across the street over there, and here right on the front porch, right by my office here. But just want to come out and say a few words this morning about what's going on. I know there's been a lot of talk about the Epstein files, and I do believe those need to be released. And irregardless of who is on that list, famous or not famous, that needs to be released, and there needs to be redactions to protect the victims. I believe that's very important, but I believe that should be released, and under my administration, the DOJ, Department of Justice, and every other government agency involved in that would release those files, and that should be, you know, we should do that, and I've always said this. From the very beginning. And I believe in full transparency. There should be nothing to hide in these files. And there should be also a sense of closure uh, for the victims in this. I know that will probably be a long time in coming, um, but at least have some closure towards it, because I know a lot of folks, a lot of these victims have been living with this for a long, long, long time. So, and also let let's get it out. Let's get the files released, and let's talk about it. And then we need to also look at the other issues that we're facing as a country. I think the biggest thing, one of our biggest problems, uh, that, and I talked about this yesterday after church, um, is um, is these cut is he cuts these cutbacks on these government programs. They're not needed. You know, I'm a firm believer in having a balanced budget. I've always been that way. I've always been a conservative, but I believe I believe that we need to have the programs that the American people need to have to survive. That's the job of the federal government, is to provide for that. Is to provide for that. Until a point. But but to cut the education department, which I wouldn't have done, to cut PEPFAR, which I wouldn't have done, to cut USAID, which I wouldn't have done. Those programs are necessary programs. DOE, the Department of Education, I would have actually just refocused it and had a charter school emphasis on it. And under my administration, we would do that. We would have a charter school emphasis. And still, as I've talked about on the campaign trail, there would still be um, the budget coming from Washington to the states, substantial funding for each of the states, and to also primarily to fund teacher pay increases. So um, those are the things that we really need to push forward on in this coming fall, and it's some things I'm going to work on. So some of the other things that I believe need brought to attention is, and I talked about this a lot last year, and this is some things that didn't get ahead, but I believe need to be pursued, and that is the tax credits for the upper class. Uh, Now, there's nothing wrong with being in the upper tax bracket, but I also believe you need to pay your fair share in taxes. And so, under my program, what would happen is, you would be able to, let's say, in your specialty, let's say if you're an architect, an engineer, or whatever, and you gave back to your community your services, you would receive a tax credit, a tax break for those services rendered. Think about the satisfaction you would have to an up and coming business, especially here in my hometown here. Uh, they would love to have an architect come in and give that $1 million look to that small upcoming business. You feel better as an individual, and the business does a whole lot better. So that's one of the things I'm going to work on as well this fall. Would be working on uh, a program to where the upper income could get a tax break for helping out the up and coming businesses. And again, I'm a firm believer in in that the upper class should pay their fair share. You know, there's an old saying, much is given, much is required, and I firmly believe in that. But thank you guys very much. Thank you, thank you.